like we have more in mind. And so I was talking.
Well, I don't know, maybe. That part I don't know.
Hey, are you doing your live lesson? Why don't you tell us what you think might be missing? Do you have any idea?
We have some folklore from the district office from previous employees and chief district engineers, and the state has been sitting there in our district office, well, at the new location for 52 years. And it's just sitting there, and the folklore is that a former employee named Johnny Rowe had picked out a combination, he worked it until he figured it out. He wrote on a piece of paper and threw it back in the safe and shut it. So is that folklore? Do you know? That's what we're finding out today. But it's a beautiful piece of history, and we're happy to share it with North Kentucky, anybody, Russ Bridge,
And so for everybody in Northern Kentucky, I mean, the Groveland Bridge is, I mean, such an artery of our city.
It is. It's a historic national landmark. 150 years old, this safety shortly after. We got the Reds 150 years in celebrations. A lot of good things. Cincinnati is a hub of great history, and everybody's just here to see what this little piece of history shows us.
Oh, really?
And while of course the region is excited to see what's inside. I mean, you guys, like at the transportation office, have been like looking at this thing for 50 years.
We have been looking at it it's seen a lot of things. It's seen several employees come and go, several students have been here. It's been a shelf for a long time. It's, maybe out of the corner today, and that would tell us some more history. So we'll see if that piece of paper with Johnny Rowe's combination is inside.
And one more question before we open it. Tell us a little bit about
Well, this stage was originally part of the bridge company, and in 1953, that Commonwealth of Kentucky bought the Groveland Bridge for $4.2 million. And that also included the office building, which is now Anchor Properties there in Covington, and it also included the safe. So it's just kind of been following us along. Just like I said, sitting there at the district office, but now we get to see what's inside.
Okay, and this was the question I was going to ask. I mean, why now?
Well, last year when the Hilton had their safe cracking, I approached Mike with the Kenton County Library and said, we got one older than that. So he jumped on board with it. The Kenton County Library wanted to bring it down to display. So it's been great. It's been a win-win, exciting, and it's just another little piece of our history here in Northern Kentucky.
Okay, right?
Hey, yeah, that's the big question. What is inside the safe? Is it money? Is it nothing? Is it documents? It could be anything, and we're all just waiting anxiously at this point to find out. They're going to open the safe. They have a professional coming in to open it here in about 10 minutes, and we'll be sure to bring that to you. But first, I want to talk to Nancy Woods. She is the PIO at the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet District 6. So you have an idea, you said, of what you think is in there, right?
Well, there's some folklore around the district office that a former employee named Johnny Rowe had figured out the combination and wrote it on a piece of paper and put it back into the safe and locked it up. So that's what's in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll soon find out.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool if the story was true, but I think the people in this room are hoping maybe for a little bit more, right?
This safe has been around for a very long time. The bridge itself, it was opened 152 years ago.
Okay.
The safe bridge shortly after. Just to think of all the history that's and all of that. All the people that used that bridge over the past 152 years. It's just amazing. So, this is something
Yeah, and I understand too, they used to collect tolls and they would put the money that they would get from those tolls in the safe. But you're thinking, probably not the case that money's still going to be in there.
Well, I know they were smart, the money did not leave. It's gone. But the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet bought the bridge in 1953 for $4.2 million. And so we got some other things along with that. That safe. But that bridges as well as the Anchor Property building that's down in Covington. That used to be a bridge company that like this. So it's been sitting in our district office, in a corner. We are happy that it's
Yeah, Nancy's just as anxious as we are, so we're gonna bring that to you here in about 10, 15 minutes, so make sure you stay with us here on Fox 19. For now, back to you guys.
Sort of made her way. About 4-minute video that will kind of introduce kind of what we're trying to do, bringing our story to life. Preserving history in our region is important, and so we're very happy on many levels that we can also keep this safe functional. We didn't have to drill into it, so that's an important part for us for preserving as much as we can. So we're going to go ahead and play a video. We may drop the lights a little bit here, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
generations, and we are just honored to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here as a substitute for our president, Sherry Roth. Sherry was unable to be here today. And I do just want to talk a few minutes about the Bridge Committee. We are the Covington Cincinnati Suspension Bridge Committee. And you notice suspension is in our name. On the safe, the name of the bridge company, it's the Covington Cincinnati Bridge Company. It doesn't have suspension in it. Back there in the middle of the 19th century, those folks weren't worried about what type bridge it was. They just wanted a bridge. And also, we're designated a committee in our name. I tend to think of a committee as a short-term group that's working on a specific problem, perhaps. But we've been around now for 44 years. And our purpose is the enhancement and preservation of this iconic landmark. The first, we were established in 1975, shortly after the bridge was designated a National Historic Landmark. And our first enhancement project was to have the flags flying on the bridge. There had been flag poles up there for forever probably, but no one could remember, or very few could remember the last time that flags had flown on the bridge. So in 1976, that was the bicentennial year, of course, for the United States. We began flying the flags. The American flag, the current American flag on the Ohio side, the Bennington flag, which with the 76 on the Kentucky Tower, and it was the official flag of the bicentennial. And of course the state flags underneath the American flags. We've been flying those ever since then. Probably have to be changed with the wind and the weather, probably an average of 3 times a year. And we always make a point of checking them out before opening day and before Riverfest. And then again, of course, if there's a Bengals Monday night football game or something like that, make sure that we have decent flags on the bridge. Our next enhancement project was and I say ours, I'm talking about the committee. I wasn't part of the committee at this time, but at that time. But the next enhancement project was the necklace lighting on the bridge, and that was installed in 1984. And we've been ever since, of course, maintaining the flags, maintaining the lighting system, and that's gotten to be quite a project and a fundraising effort to maintain the lighting system. As we got into the 20th century, we sort of changed our approach to what you might say more an educational approach. We established Roebling Fest, which we had for 13 years. And probably the most popular features of that were our bridge tours, where we pointed out the significance, the engineering significance and the history of the bridge, and also our history tent at Roebling Fest. Like I said, we had that for 13 years, and the final Roebling Fest was celebrated the 150th anniversary of the completion of the bridge in 2017. Over the years, we've had photo contests. Unfortunately, right now, I think our photo contest for this year is on hold due to the closure of the bridge and the fact that there's going to be a pending construction project going on to make some repairs. Also, we do continue to conduct tours periodically. The last tours were just this past Saturday, and we will be doing that periodically. It's sort of interesting that the team that conducts the bridge tours is also the hard-working team that's been working to upgrade our lighting system. They work on this continuously, and we're getting it in better shape, but it's a continuing project. So basically, that's what the committee is doing. We are a citizens group, people from both sides of the river. There are several members here today. If you want to raise your hands, anybody that's a member of the Bridge Committee. Some of them raised their hands, and some of them didn't. The ones that I'm aware of, anyway. And our membership chairman is here, David Wetzel. I think he's hiding behind the post over here. But if anybody's interested in joining us as a member of the committee, you can talk to David after the safe opening and after this program is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ralph, and thanks for everything the committee does. The other person you saw in the video, Dr. Don Heinrich Tolzman, is also a historian with the committee as well. So if you haven't read one of his books about the bridge, I think you have 3 or 4 to choose from at this point. They're all in our collection here if you can't find them anywhere else. But very invaluable spending the time. The library is happy to partner with you on Roebling Fest over those years. And we appreciate it. I know you've helped us fund different projects in the past as well. So it's been a great partnership, and thank you for your ongoing support. Okay.
Yes.
A few other additional partners in here. I know Anchor Properties was mentioned. Is anybody here from Anchor Properties? So they're now the current tenants of what used to be, or tenants of the former bridge building. But you saw the vaults that were mentioned in the video in the Anchor Properties building. So they were gracious enough to allow us access to shoot and disrupt their normal business operations. So wanted to thank Anchor Properties for doing that, and also for investing in our community and preserving our history. I mentioned earlier 2 Men in a Truck. Greg Higgins and the whole crew of 2 Men in a Truck have been really good to the library over the years, going back to when we used to run the 5K through the streets of Covington. They've been very generous, and I think they moved this save 3 or 4 different times, Nancy, I think. So they've always been there when we needed them, and we definitely appreciate 2 Men in a Truck support. Is anyone here from 2 Men in a Truck? Oh, in the back. Yes, notice the rather large fellow in the back. That's why we needed 2 Men in a Truck to move the save, because we compared me to him. So finally, neither 2 Men in a Truck, Nancy Wood, Don Tolzman, the Bridge Committee, or myself could open this safe. So we tried, but we weren't going to figure it out either. So we turned to our local experts when it comes to anything safe and lock. And we're very fortunate at Covington to have Acme Lock here. It's been a business in, 85 years, I believe, in the city of Covington. Family run. And you learned the trade from the best, right?
Yeah.
Also known as Dad.
Wait here, sorry.
So I met Steve's father, who's not able to be with us today, but he learned to pass on all of his traits to you, right? And he told me, yeah, you always leave a little something out, right? And he told me who he learned his skills from, and I found a picture of his former mentor in one of the papers as I was doing research, which was kind of interesting. So I'd like to turn it over to Steve. One thing I learned with talking with Steve and his father is that I will not be able to explain safe operation, mechanics, construction in any way intelligently. So any safe questions, I would gladly turn it over to Steve if anyone has that. But Steve will be happy to take it over and go on.
Again?
Yeah.
Good work.
So yeah. So many of Steve's secrets will not be able to be shared with us today, obviously. He doesn't want to put himself out of business. But in talking with his father, there's actually very few people that can kind of open a safe of this sort with this age without drilling. Most of the people that open safes of this age drill right through it, and then it makes the process a little bit easier. So is there, I don't want to interrupt you, Steve, but if there's anything you can do, I'm happy to pass along any updates.
Well, we get one number.
Okay, we have one number
I
down.
have to determine which number it is.
Okay. And I think your dad has suspected there might be 4 in this combination, or 3?
There'll be 4.
There'll be 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, he explained a lot of spinning plates and pins and confused me greatly. So an interesting side note, earlier up on the screen we had mentioned, in 1904 there was an Enquirer, or actually a Cincinnati, Kentucky Post article, mentioning that the safe in the bridge company was robbed. So at that time, Bradford Shinkle, who was the son of Amos Shinkle, founder of the bridge company and primary motivating force behind the bridge being built, had mentioned that the combination to the safe was a simple one. Detectives at the time believed it was an inside job, most likely, due to the bridge was open 24 hours a day, and there were people around, and so there were people in and out of the offices and around the bridge. And so to move in that quickly, and maybe even having to know the combination, it might have been an inside job. So at that point, they had mentioned that there were basically papers thrown about the room, the daily receipts were missing, which totaled about $143.
I don't know the timeline
I
on
think
how
about
long
$80 of
this
that was
takes,
in
so
cash
I'm
and
just gonna
coins,
be waiting
and
like
the rest
you.
was in gold and silver. So it kind of tells you the currency they were dealing with at the time. So I'd be curious to see if we're able to figure out this combination, if it actually turns out to be a simple combination, or if they learned their lesson and happen to change it to make it a little bit more difficult after they had their
Some
safe
people are saying
open.
it's just the code, a piece of paper with the code on it. Other people are saying, well, maybe historical documents. It just kind of depends. So we're all just waiting and seeing.
I will add a one Covington because our local celebrity artist, Frank Duvenak, was a former instructor there. Had significant influence on the artistic community. This would have predated his involvement, obviously, but another way to connect the history. Putting a safe together was not a one-shop operation. There were cabinet makers, there were polishers, there were painters and designers, there were people working in locks, there were people bending iron and pouring concrete and a variety of other different tasks. So the actual warehouse and factory was over 2 city blocks, basically, when you look at maps at the time.
I got two, by the way.
2 numbers, see? It's a lot of pressure for me to filibuster. Any questions? Sure.
Do you know of a safe in the Mox Jewelry Company that was drilled through a couple of years ago?
Correct.
In the back? Is that a Hull safe?
It was a Hull safe. Yep. Article at the time mentioned that they bought that from the Hull Safe and Lock Company in 1871. It was a larger safe than this one.
Much larger.
Yeah. So, but again, it's at that same time, that's who they were selling them to. They were selling them to places that were companies, but jewelers were one of their primary banks, jewelers, anybody that would have a significant investment, and especially to protect those assets. But yes, that was a Hull safe.
Why does it say South America?
Excellent point that I forgot to mention. Almost planted you in the crowd, yes. So, Hull South American safe. So the only 2 references we found.
It's open.
Oh, see, he got tired of listening to me, but that's fine. Yeah, I'll answer that question, remind me.
Can we
So-
clear the chairs
Oh,
so we can get a
absolutely.
good view?
All right, so let me get my staff here. We're gonna have my staff ready in case there's any documents that need to be handled. So white gloves are on in case they're really old or delicate.
I'm ready to open this
So,
sucker.
yeah. Mike Bloom, who spent a lot of time on this project. Are you gonna do the honors, Mike?
No.
Oh, he denies the spotlight. I guess.
How about the
How
white
about
gloves?
Nancy Wood? Nancy, would you like to open this safe since you put this into our lives?
You have to put the phone down though. You can't do it with the
That's
phone in
right.
your hand.
This might not be a one-handed job, so. So is there, it's ready to go. So just turn the handle, or is it ready to pull?
Ready to pull?
Ready to pull. So let's have the big reveal. Is everyone in position?
Is there drum roll?
Oh,
Just pull.
That's it.
okay. All right, so we have shelves. All right, so let's get my team. Casey Blackmore is my archivist. Sierra Earl, we mentioned the faces and places in the photo database. Sierra is the maintainer of that collection. Okay, so we will empty the contents and we'll bring them over here to the table, and we'll make them available for people to view and take pictures of once we assess kind of what's waiting for us. So we've got some books there. Do we have any words on those books, Sierra?
It says on the book that it's a daily record of concrete pavement.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Daily record of concrete pavement books.
It was from the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Highways Construction Department, and it was a daily record of concrete pavement. It appears to be blank.
What, is there a date?
All right. Well, let's see, we have plenty of others to choose from, so let's see if we have any. Okay, we are striking out. Excellent. All right. Have we checked all of them? Okay. And are those fabric covered shelves, or do we know what those were that came out of the safe?
Some type of wool fabric that was in the safe. That's all that is right here.
Any ideas on that, Steve? Would that be anything pertaining to the safe?